from the Denver Broncos Media Center, welcome to Broncos Country Tonight with Ryan Edwards and Benjamin Albright.
Welcome to Broncos Country Tonight. Benjamin Albright in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl this week. I am joined in studio by the great Steve Atwater, Hall of Famer, Ring of Famer. What up, Steve?
What's up, Ryan? I'm filling in for the great Benjamin Albright. I don't have as much inside information as him, but, I hope I do a good job.
Don't say great, because I get to work with him next week. He's going to be like, did Steve really say I was great? Yeah. And then it's going to be over for me. So, but yes, we like Ben. He's a nice guy. Okay, so I wanted to start out this conversation with the Broncos have hired a new coach. It's amazing. We haven't done one of these Broncos TV episodes since they hired a new head coach. So let's talk about Nathaniel Hackett, my number one guy. You wanted an offensive coach. You came on our radio show and said you wanted an offensive coach. What'd you think about the hire? Yeah,
man, I loved it, especially after hearing all the interviews. I really know much about him. I got the chance to know more about him, just seeing the different interviews, seeing him with his family. What impressed me big time, though, you talked about it a second ago, was just, him explaining how Aaron Rodgers is, and how Aaron Rodgers, if you just told him to do something, he wanted to know why. And he was patient enough to be able to explain everything to him. And I think that's an amazing trait for a coach to have the patience to not just say, oh, just because I told you, don't worry about the why. Guys got to understand the reason why they're doing things. They don't want to, and most people will do it if you just tell them, all right, just go do it. But, I think the great teams understand why they're doing it.
100%. And that jumped out to me, and we played that on Friday night on the show, because when you go into that knowing that you have to know the process behind it, it makes you a better teacher, but also makes you better, more compatible as a team.
And when guys are on the field, it's not just, all right, I'm running this defense, I don't really know why we're running it, but they understand, what's underneath it, and so they understand the defense to a deeper level, and they take more ownership of it, I think, or the offense, defense, whatever.
Yeah, and I really liked his resume. I like the different stops. He's shown improvement in leadership at all those stops. These are reasons why I liked him. I liked his energy. One of the things that he talked about that I was also that I was impressed in, they did this in the behind the scenes Broncos thing that they put together, which was really phenomenal, by the way. Congrats to the digital crew.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, it's really, really good stuff. But he sort of talked about wanting to create a culture where it's fun to come to work, right? And I think, through all walks of life, we can all appreciate what that feels like, being excited to show up to work and excited to get to work and learn and try to create a winning culture. And the thing is winning culture can really translate to anything you do in life. So I think that mentality. Now, of course, the other side of that, and the more negative side, which Ben usually represents most clearly, is what happens when you're losing? Like it's all fun and everybody's excited and happy, but how does that personality keep things working if for some reason it's not?
Yeah, well, it just wouldn't be as fun, but at the same time, guys still know they're working in the right direction. They know they have a coach who can have fun, is including them in the game plan, and letting the players take part in the leadership. It's not just all on the coach. That's a huge burden to feel like you gotta always get guys up, and you gotta make sure they know everything. You gotta make sure they're having a good time. Gotta make sure they want to come in to work. When the guys buy in, hey, you got 22 coaches on the field. All the guys who are starting, and even some of the backups, man. They just got that winning mentality where they want to be in the building. They come in early, they stay late, and they make the sacrifices that a lot of teams don't make.
You wanted an offensive coach. Why? Can you go ahead and tell people why you wanted an offensive coach?
Well, I just feel like for stability purposes, if you have a defensive coordinator who comes in and is a head coach, and there are a lot of great defensive coordinators who deserve to be head coaches. No knock against them, but I think this organization needs stability at this time, and if we hired a defensive guy, he's got to hire an offensive coordinator. And just say he comes in and has a great year one. Guess what? He's gone. Somebody's going to poach him.
Yep.
And he can't move up to the head coaching position unless you fire the head coach. Mm-hmm. And then you got to start back over. And that's what we've had to do too many times. I'd like to see a guy, and that's just kind of the way it is right now. And I believe that, we are still kind of taking a chance on Nathaniel Hackett. He hasn't been proven as a head coach, but hey, guess what? All the great offensive head coaches, they're already coaching for teams. So you got to take a little bit of a risk. But I think if it pays off, it's going to be a huge payoff, and he can be here for 10, 15, 20 years.
Right, and you're building continuity on the offensive side of the ball, something the Broncos have just not had.
Yes.
And they've tried to. I mean, they have had resets often at the OC position, whether it's guys getting poached or just really not getting the job done, which has been more the case for the Broncos. But even this last go-round with Pat Shurmur, they tried continuity with Pat Shurmur, and it just really wasn't connecting. But the fact is, if you have it coming from the head coach, you can bring in offensive coordinators that get promoted to other places. You maintain the structure of what you are about, especially on that side of the ball. And for the Broncos, I understand going to the opposite side of this thing for a little bit. You've been on the defensive side. You've had a really good defense. You had heavy investment on the defensive side. Yeah. And I'm not particularly worried about a drop-off in the defense. We'll get to that in a second. But I think if nothing else, the investment on the offensive side, you finally saw it last year when you signed extensions to Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick. It's time to invest in on the coaching side as well. And that's another reason why I like the Hackett hire.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got guys here who are, I believe, great playmakers, and they just weren't able to shine, unfortunately, in the previous offense. I don't know if they didn't have the right chemistry with Pat Shurmur, or I don't really know what the problem was, but never could seem to get on the same page. And but I still think that we have, again, the talent there, the wide receiver position, the running back position, the offensive line. Although we didn't play as well as we've played in some years, some players, I think that we have enough talent on that side of the ball to play much better than we played these last couple of years. And I know that they're excited, and they got to know that, along with the new coach comes a new system. The work ethic is going to have to be there. They may have to commit more time than they committed under previous coaches, but hey, that's just a part of it. You got to make the sacrifice if you want to be great, and there are going to be a lot of changes. So in terms of just, having to learn a new system and put in that work.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, now it's about the quarterback and who's he going to be working with, because in the end, just like it was for Vic Fangio, probably like it was for Vance Joseph, until you get the quarterback, it is very difficult to win in this league. We went through, Ben and I went through on the radio show the AFC, and there's really only like three positions that are open for quarterback in the AFC. The NFC, it's all over the place. Yeah. But the AFC, I mean, top to bottom, there are really only a handful of spots, and only because Ben Roethlisberger just retired, really only a handful of spots that are actually open for a quarterback spot. The AFC is dominated by really good quarterbacking, and the Broncos need to find one.
Yeah, and, I would say that coaching plays a part in that as well. And you hear all the time when great players have great careers, who do they credit with? They credit their coaches. And so, coaching plays a part in that. And, having a guy who's worked with an elite quarterback in the likes of Aaron Rodgers, I think that and knowing the importance of communication and explaining things to quarterbacks, I think that he'll improve most quarterbacks' play, regardless of what that base level is. So with the system and the method of play calling, I warm my heart. His dad was back with Bill Walsh, man, and that West Coast offense is a beast to stop. Yep. So I'm super excited about that. But I'm excited about he's going to be involved with the coaching and the teaching of the quarterbacks. And I think our quarterbacks, even if we run it back with the guys we got, I think it'll look a little different than it is last year. When
you talked about elite quarterback play, I thought you were going to bring up Blake Bortles, your guy. So I'm glad you went to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you keep saying that, Ryan. That was several years ago. I don't know if you have that on tape or not.
That was going to be really awkward for everybody. All right. Thank you to Steve Atwater for joining me. I'm Ryan Edwards. Thanks for watching Broncos Country Tonight.